The Bouncer, Part 2. So Ballu, the bouncer, found himself in this entirely new world, and in that world, he was in this strange room, and he was completely stunned by what he saw. I mean, the room, all the walls were gold. There were diamonds and rubies and sapphires stuck on the wall, on the pillars. It was like, I mean, Ballu, the max luxury Ballu had seen was in that five-star hotel, but this was another league altogether. I mean, he was just blown away. And then he saw the man who did not click the fingers and got him into this world. A handsome, muscular, lean toned kind of guy, become hero type. So that man turned to Ballu and said, Acha, come along, the bosses are waiting. Ballu was a little perplexed, a little nervous. I mean, like there was some strange magic going on. He was in this bizarre new world. So he's like, who bosses and where am I and why do they want to meet me and all? But that guy had started marching. Now Ballu was a little freaked out already, and he knew that, even if he didn't consent, that guy would flick his fingers and Ballu would either get dragged or will just float along, and he wasn't very excited about that thought. So he quietly followed. They entered another room, which was something like an interview room. The kind where you sit and enter, and there's a table, and there are three guys sitting, or three guys or girls or women or whatever, sitting on chairs and interrogating you. It was exactly like that. Except that these were very ornate, bejeweled chairs. And these three people were all extremely young and good looking. And the room had all these golden pillars with like fantastic gemstones embedded on the pillars and on the walls. More than an interview room, it actually felt like one of those throne rooms, one of those palaces that one sees in all these mythological serials and movies and Bansali movies and those kind of things. So the guy who basically kidnapped Ballu, he smiled and looked at those three and said, here he is. Only thing is, those three people didn't seem very impressed. They gave a rather baleful look to Ballu and said, Kaun hai ye? Who's this? Ye kisko le aaye? The first time that guy who kidnapped Ballu, he looked a little perplexed. He was like, Rajesh Paswan. Those guys were like, this is not Rajesh Paswan. That guy was like, of course he's Rajesh Paswan. And he looked at Ballu and said, you are Rajesh Paswan, right? Ballu was like, no, I'm Ballu, Balram. And those three people on the interview kind of, on the chair, they lost it. They started screaming at that guy, you always mess up. How could you mess up such a simple job? And that guy was looking freaked. He said, no, it's not my fault. You only told me to go get the guy from the prison cell. He was the guy in the prison cell. He looked at Ballu and said, you were in that prison cell. And Ballu was suddenly on the defensive. He didn't realize what mistake he'd made, but he realized some mistake had happened. So he's like, yeah, I was in that cell because we got into that fight. Basically that even the fight was not my fault. That guy with the long hair, he came, he started hitting me. Suddenly the three people who were sitting on the chairs, they sounded very interested. Tall guy. The second guy goes, long hair. That woman was like, tall guy with long hair. They all seemed really excited about this. And Ballu looked at them and said, yeah, he came and hit me and I didn't pick up it, he hit me. And they looked at that guy who, basically brought Ballu here. And they were like, that was the guy you were supposed to bring. Adi, what are you up to? Ballu realized that the guy who brought him here, his name was Adi. And that the person who he had a fight with, the one who he punched and knocked out, that was the guy Adi was supposed to bring. But Ballu didn't know what to do. He was here. But Ballu is a nice guy. So he felt bad for Adi. He felt bad for those three. He started apologizing. He said, I'm really sorry. I'm not Rajesh, but if there's anything I can do to help. And Adi also was in a very shaky, he also wanted to make amends. Obviously, these guys were his bosses or something, and he didn't want to look like an idiot, total idiot in front of them. So he started saying, yeah, maybe this guy will be able to help. Look at him, he's got muscles, he's so tough. And you said, he looked at Ballu and said, you said, you were in a fight, you knocked out Rajan. See, he's stronger than that Rajesh. This is the kind of guy we need. So in that Jaldbazi, he mixed up Rajan and Rajesh. He forgot that the guy's name was Rajesh. He called him Rajan. What happens in a tizzy. Any case, But unfortunately, the three people sitting on the chairs, the bosses, they didn't look very impressed. They're like, brute force and muscle, so we have in you, na? And we've seen how much good it's done us. What we need our brains, and that you totally seem to be lacking. Adi again said, but it's not my fault. What could I do? Like, shush! You take this guy back and bring Rajesh. Obviously, Adi had no choice. He said, okay. And he takes Ballu out and they go back into that first room where they were. Ballu's looking totally perplexed. He's like, please tell me what's going on. Where am I? Why do they need me? And who is this Rajesh? And what's all this? Adi's like, you know what? I can't tell you, boss. It's all a secret. He's like, but I promise I won't tell you. I won't tell anyone. And come on, you brought me here in all this chaos. Adi is also feeling bad for Ballu. I mean, Ballu's been rejected also. I mean, of course, Adi got galis, but even Ballu's got rejected. So he says, you know what? I'll tell you, but you really can't tell anyone else. Otherwise, you see what I do to you. He says, okay, I promise. Just tell me. So actually, you're in the Naglok. Ballu was like, Naglok? Nag meaning like, acha, the Nagaland, Nagas type, northeast. Said, no, silly Nagas. Nagin, Nag. Just like Takshak, Vasuki, the snake people. Ballu's face turned. He turned pale. He was betrayed. He like, you're a Naga? You mean you're a snake? Oh my God.